Bonjour, in this episode I show you how to go from this to this. Let's add some drama. Bonjour mesdames et messieurs and welcome to episode 44 of my photography, Lightroom and Photoshop tips. My name is Serge Ramelli and I am a French photographer living in Paris, France. Welcome to this podcast. Last week I showed you a trick on Photoshop CS6 to create and to fake long exposure when you take waterfalls. You take several shots of a waterfall and then you use a special stack mode in Photoshop and you can fake a long exposure look. That's the final result. This week I will give you an example. I was in Jerusalem last week and got up very early with my wife to take a photo of the Damas Gate. This is the original photo. And it was a boring sky. We got up so early, we walked, we were tired, and we got nothing. So, thanks to Photoshop, I'm taking these clouds taken from an early morning, but in Paris, and I get this result. I want to show you some little tricks to fake completely a photo and add some amazing drama. So come and join me. Okay, so for this week's podcast, I had this idea to show you how I did a very dramatic photo of this Damas Gate in Jerusalem, Israel. The whole idea is that I got up at 5 in the morning to try to take this gate, beautiful gate from Jerusalem, and boy, the sky was boring. What I was hoping for is to have this sky. This is a sky that I took in Paris, really at 5 o'clock in the morning, but not the same day. So I'm going to cheat and try to make a piece of art with mixing this both this sky and that photo. So first let's do a bit of Lightroom. I'm not going to do much. I'm just going to open up the shadows. I'm not going to bring down the highlights because I want the photo to be very bright. That's very important for this to work, is the photo needs to be very bright. Then I'm going to add some clarity a little bit and no vibrance, nothing else. That's about it. Then I'm going to right click, take both of this, oh you know what, this one, I'm going to desaturate this one completely. I'm going to go black and white on it. Okay. Then I'm going to take this photo and right click, edit, open as layers in Photoshop. The whole idea is I want one Photoshop file and two layers, one with the Damas Gate and the other one with the clouds. Okay. And I'll show you what we do from there on. So the clouds are on top, so I'm going to turn off the layers visibility. I'm going to go on the bottom. I'm going to duplicate the bottom layer because I want to take care of some of the boys here. Here we have some soldiers there that I'm going to keep, but this man, this and this I want to take out. So I prefer to do it when there's a lot of texture, you know, like square and everything, to take just a stamp tool. So stamp tool, here we go. And yeah, about this size is cool. I'm going to press the Option key and click here. And then I'm going to go here and I go up and down. I drop, I stop, I take my finger off the mouse and up and down, okay? And so I add a little bit of plant, but that's fine. For this guy, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take here. I'm going to take this. You see here, there is a little bar and there is a bar there. So I'm going to take this bar. So I have the Option key and I'm clicking here. And I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go up. Oh, not so much up. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go like this. And I let go my finger and I go again. I let go my finger. Okay. And then for the top of his body, I'm going to click the Alt key here and then go here and then go just down a little bit. Drop, get my finger off the mouse. I'm sorry. And then same thing here. I'm going to go here, up and down, my finger off, up and down, my finger off, up and down. Okay, well, something a bit weird here. Let's see if I can fix that. Okay, well, it's a bit weird, but you know what? It's not going to be a big deal because this is going to be very, very dark. So let me see if I can fix it. Yeah, I did. Okay, the soldiers I'm going to leave on. I just wanted to take these guys out. Okay, now that I clean up a bit the photo, I'm going to turn on, I'm going to merge these two layers by selecting them and pressing Command E. And then I put this layer on and I'm going to put it in multiply. And what multiply is going to do, and I love multiply for that, is that when you have a very clear, very bright photo with lots of white, anything that is white is going to become transparent. And so it gets totally mixed up in the photo. Look, you know, like there's no need to do any selections or extractions. Now it's a bit too much. So as it is a bit too much, I mean, to be honest, I'm going to go for a too much effect. But I like it, you know. It's just the flavor of the day. So I'm going to add a mask, a white mask. Take a brush, take a little brush, and this brush I'm going to put black as a foreground color, opacity around, yeah, a bit below 20, like 18%. And I'm just going to paint on the walls to, you know, we can see the clouds a bit too much on the structure, you know. The clouds are a bit too much on the structure. I don't like that, okay? Something like that. Yeah, that's cool. Now, a little trick I want to show you is that if you take too much out, like for example, say, oh, I took too much out, make sure the property window is on. If not, go here, properties, and then you can click on the mask and you can just lower the density of the mask. See how this is gray here on the mask, how it's gray brush strokes. If I go down, they're going to go from a dark gray to a light gray, and it's going to bring the texture back again. And if you think that there is too much brush stroke, you can use the other slider, which is the feathering, and you can feather your brush strokes, which I don't need here. Okay, so that's one first step. It's a small step for a photo, but a big one. I'm sorry, I'm just messing you around. Okay, so now I have that done. I'm gonna go and add a black and white adjustment layer. Black and white. I want the whole photo to be black and white, but we're not gonna stop there. We're gonna go and add a gradient map. Now, gradient map has always been around in Photoshop, but there is some new colors that came out, which I love, which is all these ones here. These presets, and if you don't have them, you can load them, and they are, now the presets, you can get them added here. I think this photographic toning. Okay, that's the ones. They are new and I love them. Check them out. When you click on photographic toning, it gives a total different feel to a photo. Like, you know, some is really weird and some is not weird. I just show you around a little bit, but this is the one that I want. This is the one that I like. Okay, why do I like this one? Because it's warm in the highlights and it's cold. It's cold in the dark lights, the shadows. Okay, so that's before the gradient map. That's after. I'm going to lower the opacity because I think it's too much. I just, you know, around 50%. I just want to give a little bit of this, of that touch, you know. And I'm not done. I'm not done. It's still very contrasty. I mean, it's very dramatic, but I want to add more contrast to this. So I'm gonna click and make a new layer. Call this dodge and burn. You know the rule now. I dodge and burn everything. I dodge and burn my dog. I dodge and burn everything that I find. So to dodge and burn, you create an empty layer. You put this into overlay, and take a brush. Take the brush. Okay, and put 18%. Black color as the foreground to start with, and I'm just gonna darken some part of the photo to make it even more dramatic. I know I'm crazy, but that's the fun of life, you know. You can do whatever you want in Photoshop. You're free. There is no Photoshop police who's gonna arrest me for too much retouching. Nope. I might get some bad comments on YouTube, but that's as bad as it gets. Okay, it's a bit too much, so I'm gonna lower the opacity and I'm gonna create a new empty layer. Now, why do I create a new empty layer? Is actually when there is a dodge and burning effect that I like, I just leave it there. I create a new empty layer. I put it into overlay mode, and I just keep on dodging and burning. That's how I rock. Okay, now I'm going to press X for the white, and I just want to add even more lights here to the front. Okay, kind of like maybe here a little bit, just to drag the attention of the viewer on the front. Okay, that's a bit too much. I'm going to lower the opacity a bit, like 60%. That's cool. Create a new layer. Okay. Overlay. Now I want to add some drama in the sky here. So I'm going to add some whites a bit in the clouds to make them even more crazy. I know it's crazy, but that's how it is. It is crazy. Okay. So now we've got really some crazy stuff. I'm going to take all the dodge and burn and Command J, like George, to put them into a group. And if you think it's too much, you can just, which it is, I'm going to lower the overall opacity. Okay. Now this is non-destructive. I can even lower the opacity of the clouds if I think it's too much, you know. No, but I'm going to leave it how it is. I like this dramatic effect. Okay. And last but not least, I want to make a vignette effect, but I want to make it my way. And for this, I'm going to create a new layer by Command Alt Shift E. Okay, and I'm going to put this layer into multiply mode. And the reason why I use this technique, I could just, you know, put this photo back in Lightroom and do the vignetting, but I want to sell the effect that the clouds are really there. And so for this, I use the marquee tool, and I make sure that, you know, I'm a bit on the gate and on the sky, which is not the case here. So you can always go to select, transform selection. Yeah, I just want to make sure that my vignette effect, you see, anything which is going to be outside of the section is going to be very dark, and anything inside is going to be very light. So that's my selection. Now I need to feather that selection before I delete it. So I go to select, modify, feather, 400 pixels is a good point to start, and then I press the delete key. Okay, now I've got some heavy duty vignetting, a lot too much. So as anything in Photoshop, you can just lower the opacity. Yeah, it's 50%. You know, but it just gets the eyes to the gate. You know, I wanted to give an old feeling to this gate, you know. And yeah, I love the effect. You might hate it, and it's your right, but I love it. Okay, so then I'm just going to press Command W and just get this back into Lightroom. I just want to show you that if you go to my website and you go to photosurge.com and you click on English tutorial, you can purchase a lot of tutorials. And if you want to see, I've got about 11 tutorials, mostly on Lightroom or on Photoshop. If you want to see what one of the courses is doing, you just click on it. Like for example, this one, Lightroom for travel retouching, and you will see all the before and after of each project, so you can get an idea of what they do. And the best is to purchase the packages. For example, all the Lightroom training is $25 instead of $30. All the Photoshop training is $40 instead of $50. And if you buy everything, and I would love you forever for that, it's $63 instead of $90, and you get like 15 hours of training, dozens and dozens of raw files. I mean, everything that I know is in there. And it really, if you like the free stuff, buying the paid stuff helps me finance the free stuff. So, you know, that's how it works. Thank you very much, guys, for being there, and I'll see you back in the studio. Okay, mesdames et messieurs, I hope you liked that tutorial. I think it's fun what you can do with Photoshop. If this is the first time you're seeing this podcast, if you want to get it for free weekly, all you have to do is subscribe. And for this, you can just press this button right here, and you can subscribe, and you will get an email every time I put out a podcast, which is every Monday or Tuesday. If you do like this podcast, please share it on your social network and write me a little mail. This is my email, and I will give you the raw file that I use to create that drama. I'll give you the Damask Gate photo, the raw file, and I'll give you the texture of the sky, of the clouds, so you can do the same result. And just to thank you for forwarding this to all your friends. Thank you very much for your help, and I'll see you next week.